Are live again. It is Saturday evening at 6:45 p.m. local time here, just north of Houston, Texas. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center in Spring, Texas. My name is David Durst. I'm one of the ministers there, and every day I read from the Science of Mind magazine, the Daily Guides. Almost all of you know this, but just as a quick reminder. Today's reading, I'm going to read it all the way through, and then I'm going to come back and comment on it, because I was just thinking, maybe some of you just want to hear the reading. You're not too bothered about my observations on it. Maybe you are, maybe you weren't, but it really doesn't matter. But I'm sure some of you do not get the magazine and you would like to hear the daily guides. Therefore, I'm going to read it all the way through, start to finish. No comments, and then I'll come back and comment. How's that? It'll be hard, but I'll do it. The faith frequency. The faith frequency. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. And that was William Faulkner, American writer of the 19th and 20th centuries. What is fear? Nothing more or less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced. A belief in two powers instead of one. A belief that there can be a power opposed to God. And that was Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook, page 156. Faith provides the transportation to arrive at your abundant dreams. Faith is your creative and wholehearted vibe that dares to believe in your enchanted journey. It existed before you arrived. It is part of you that catches the greater vision and believes in it. Faith takes your attention away from the past and moves you through unknown territory, enabling you to avoid detours to disaster. Those who live behind their own restrictive walls of perception will be challenged to divert you from your path, as will your own anxious thoughts and beliefs. To doubt will be to use your faith backwards. You shatter your dreams when you permit your concerns to grow bigger than your faith. Raising your faith frequency doesn't make doubts or doubters go away. Excuse me, it's been a long day. Because their options will always be on the dial of possibilities. But it lifts you above the fray frequencies, quote unquote. You feel a new option rising, lifting you with it. You find a new prosperous frequency without concern, because it is your good that you sense. Faith is a knowing in your heart beyond the influence of evidence to the contrary. It is your soul's realization of those vibrations above the physical senses. So keep the faith frequency playing, because amazing things happen right at the moment when you are about to give up. When you have faith, you have everything. And the affirmation that Reverend Christian Sorensen gives us is, I always keep my heart and soul tuned into spirit. I always keep my heart and soul tuned in to spirit. Well, I love that quote by William Faulkner. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. I mean, that is a really cool. I've got to remember that one, because I think that's really cool. So you can't go in search of other lands until you're prepared to get out beyond the shoreline. You know, in the old days, before navigation became much easier, ships would stay as much as they could near the shoreline, because it was a lot safer. And then as ships got more powerful and as navigation techniques got better, they started being able to go out into the middle of the ocean straight away and go straight across. And our faith is kind of like that. You know, as our faith gets stronger, we do have that ability to leave that shore and to go out into the uncharted territory of the open ocean of life, and to just know that we're going to arrive at the shore. The shore, of course, in this case, is whatever we want to experience. And if it's a completely new experience, then we even more need faith. Holmes talks about what fear is. I don't really want to talk about what fear. He says, what is fear? Nothing more or less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced, a belief in two powers instead of one, a belief that there can be a power opposed to God. To me, that's more doubt. Because at the end of the day, when you do your spiritual work, you do come to realize that God is all there is, and that there is nothing stronger than God. What is the old expression? One plus God is a majority. Why? Because there is no power, greater power in the universe. So I think fear is when we lose our ability to stay focused on what it is that we want. Now, don't get me wrong. Holmes here is talking about fear that we won't achieve our objectives, because a certain amount of fear is good. I mean, if a dog starts barking and it didn't produce a little bit of fear in you initially, then that can be dangerous. You know, anything that warns us of danger is pretty good, and fear does that. But it's when we stay stuck in fear on those points, or when we go into fear about being able to meet our goals. This is the kind of thing he's talking about. And I am gradually losing my voice here, although I assure you I feel a lot better than I sound. So I think the bottom line is simply this, that, you know, faith by definition is thought plus feeling. So what it is a matter of doing is it's keeping those thoughts and feelings alive long enough so that we achieve our objectives. And I think there's actually something which not always talked about a lot, but to me, there's a thing called knowingness. And knowingness, to me, is kind of complete faith. It's what people like Jesus had, that they just knew that what they commanded was going to happen. So once you reach that level of knowingness, that's when the fear is gone completely. Once you're in that knowingness, there can't be any fear, because you absolutely know what's going to happen. And that's the stage that we strive to achieve when we're going for anything in life. So that's really all I want to say. I'd like to remind you of two things now, not one. Reverend Lisa tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and also our service with Reverend Dr. Jesse Jennings at 11 a.m. And I hope he can talk tomorrow, because he's been leading a class for, well, since 11 a.m. Central Time today until 6:40 p.m. Actually, that's when we finished tonight, which is just before I got onto this reading. So I'm sure he'll be fine. He's used to it. So until next time, and hopefully a slightly longer reading and a slightly longer observation tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. So have a really wonderful evening. Please take care of yourselves. And once again, remember, the light of God surrounds us, and the love of God enfolds us, and the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Why? Because everywhere we are, God is, and all is well. All truly, truly is well. So until next time, namaste.